Have you ever noticed that in almost every documentary, movie, or simple vlog about life in Japan, the homes seem to possess an almost unnatural level of serenity and order? You might think this is because Japanese people have endless free time to clean, or perhaps because their homes are completely empty. But the truth is entirely different. The secret to why Japanese homes always look organized is not about constant cleaning. It is about an invisible system. A system so deeply ingrained in the culture that it operates quietly in the background of everyday life, preventing mess from ever taking root in the first place. Today, I am going to share with you exactly 8 habits that form this invisible system. These are not trendy hacks, but centuries-old principles adapted for modern living. They will show you how to transform your home from a chaotic storage space into a sanctuary of peace. And make sure to stay with me until the very end, because among these 8 habits, there is one specific rule that the Japanese consider the absolute foundation of an organized life. Without it, the other 7 simply will not work. I will reveal that core secret only at the end of our journey together. To truly understand how this invisible system operates, we must first look at a fundamental concept that shapes the Japanese mindset. In the West, space is often viewed as something to be filled. An empty corner is an invitation for a new piece of furniture. A bare wall is begging for a shelf. But in Japan, there is a profound appreciation for a concept known as ma. Ma translates roughly to negative space, or the empty space between things. It is the silence between the notes that makes the music beautiful. It is the empty space in a room that gives the objects within it their meaning and allows the people inside to breathe. When you view your home through the lens of Ma, you realize that empty space is not a void to be filled, but a valuable element to be protected. Historically, Japanese homes were small and multifunctional. A single room would serve as a living area during the day, a dining room in the evening, and a bedroom at night. This necessitated a fluid, flexible approach to possessions and space. The Japanese developed habits that respected the boundaries of their homes, ensuring that objects served the people rather than the people serving the objects. Now, let us explore the 8 habits that bring this philosophy to life. Before we go further, if you haven't subscribed yet, do it now and hit the bell. Every week, I bring you Japanese lifestyle secrets you won't find anywhere else. By subscribing, you ensure that these quiet moments of wisdom become a regular part of your week. And if this content is helping you, a like takes just 1 second and makes a huge difference for the channel. It allows us to keep sharing this knowledge with you. All right, let's get into the invisible system you came here for. The first habit in our invisible system is what we might call the principle of the permanent address. Imagine walking into a post office with a letter that has no address on it. The postal worker would not know where to put it, and it would simply sit on the counter, creating clutter. The exact same thing happens in your home when objects do not have a designated place. In a traditional Japanese home, every single item, no matter how small or seemingly insignificant, has a permanent address. This is not just a general area, but a precise, specific location where the object lives when it is not in use. The scissors have a specific slot in a specific drawer. The remote control has a precise spot on a particular wooden tray. When you bring the mail inside, it does not go on the kitchen counter. It goes into a designated sorting folder. We practice this because it entirely eliminates the cognitive load of tidying. In the West, cleaning often involves picking up an object and then making a decision about where it should go. This decision fatigue is exactly what makes tidying feel so exhausting. When every object has a permanent address, tidying is no longer a series of decisions. It is simply a physical action of returning things to their home. To apply this today, pick one category of items that constantly clutters your space, perhaps your keys, your daily mail, or your charging cables. Decide right now exactly where their permanent address will be. It must be a specific container, shelf, or hook. Once you assign an address, you must respect it religiously. If an object does not have an address, you must either create one for it or reconsider whether it belongs in your home at all. When you eliminate the need to decide where things go, your home begins to maintain its own organization almost automatically. The next habit goes against everything we are traditionally taught about organizing our belongings. We are usually told to organize by category. Keep all the books in the library, all the cleaning supplies in a specific closet, all the coats in the hallway. But the Japanese invisible system often utilizes a different approach, which is organizing by flow of action, or the point of use. Think about the daily rhythm of your life in your home. You move through your space like water in a stream, performing a series of actions. In a Japanese household, items are stored exactly where they are used, even if it defies categorical logic. For example, you might find a small cleaning cloth and a bottle of gentle spray hidden under the dining table. Why? Because the table needs to be wiped down immediately after every meal. If the cleaning supplies are kept all the way in the laundry room, the friction of going to get them makes it highly likely that the task will be postponed, and the mess will linger. The Japanese mindset focuses on removing friction from the actions we want to encourage and adding friction to the actions we want to discourage. If you want to drink more water, you place a beautiful glass and a pitcher right on your desk. If you want to keep the entryway clean, you place a small brush right by the door to sweep away dust immediately. Look at your home and identify the tasks that you constantly avoid. Is it putting away your shoes? Is it wiping the bathroom sink? Now, look at where the tools for those tasks are stored. Move the tools to the exact location where the action takes place. You will be amazed at how quickly the friction disappears, and the task becomes a natural, effortless part of your routine. Organize for the flow of your life, not for a theoretical category. This brings us to a secret that is perhaps the most visible aspect of Japanese home culture. Yet, its organizing power is rarely fully understood. It is the absolute sanctity of the floor. When you enter a Japanese home, you cross the genkan, the traditional entryway where shoes are removed and left behind. This physical boundary creates a profound psychological shift. You are leaving the dirt, the chaos, and the energy of the outside world behind and entering a pure, protected sanctuary. But the rule goes far beyond just removing your shoes. In the Japanese invisible system, the floor itself is treated with immense respect. It is not considered a valid storage surface. In many Western homes, it is completely normal to see stacks of books on the floor, gym bags tossed in the corner, or piles of clothes waiting to be folded. In Japan, putting things on the floor is a visual violation of the space's serenity. The floor is meant for walking, for sitting on tatami mats, and for sleeping on futons that are rolled away during the day. Because the floor is kept completely clear, the visual weight of the room is dramatically reduced. A clear floor gives the illusion of a much larger, more expansive space, even in the tiniest of Tokyo apartments. Furthermore, a clear floor makes cleaning incredibly simple and fast. There is nothing to move out of the way before you vacuum or sweep. To bring this powerful habit into your life, make a strict rule starting today. Absolutely nothing lives on the floor except furniture. If you have bags, baskets, or boxes currently sitting on the floor, they must be elevated to a shelf, hung on a hook, or their contents must be stored away properly. When you reclaim the surface of your floor, you instantly reclaim the visual piece of your entire home. Now we arrive at a masterclass in visual management, focusing on invisible storage and the rejection of visual noise. Have you ever walked down an aisle in a supermarket and felt overwhelmed by the bright colors, the bold text, and the shouting logos on all the packaging? That is visual noise. Now imagine bringing all of that noise into the quiet sanctuary of your home. In a Japanese household, great lengths are taken to silence this visual chaos. When a product is brought into the home, whether it is dish soap, laundry detergent, or a box of tea, the packaging is often removed or hidden. Liquids are decanted into simple, unbranded, often uniform containers. Dry goods are transferred to clear glass jars or opaque white boxes. The original packaging, with its aggressive marketing and bright colors, is discarded. This practice is rooted in the desire for visual harmony. When you look at a shelf filled with beautifully uniform, unbranded containers, your eyes glide over them smoothly. There is nothing demanding your attention. nothing interrupting the quiet atmosphere of the room. The objects blend into the background, becoming truly invisible until you need them. This dramatically reduces the feeling of clutter, even if you own many things. The environment feels calm, intentional, and curated. Try this simple experiment in your own bathroom or kitchen. Take just 3 items that have brightly colored, text-heavy packaging. It could be your hand soap, your shampoo, or your dish liquid. Transfer them into simple, clear, or solid-colored pump bottles. Notice how the entire feeling of the space shifts. The room will instantly feel more like a high-end spa and less like a chaotic convenience store. Silence the visual noise, and your home will finally begin to whisper. If you've made it to the halfway point of this video, that already tells me something about you. It means you care deeply about your quality of life and the peace of your environment. So it makes perfect sense to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss what comes next. New content drops every week, bringing you more wisdom to elevate your daily routine. And if you haven't left a like yet, do it now, as it helps this community grow. Alright, let's keep going and uncover the second half of our system. The next habit is a daily ritual that single-handedly prevents the accumulation of long-term mess. We can call it the reset to zero. In many cultures, the end of an activity is marked simply by walking away. When dinner is over, we might leave the dishes in the sink for the morning. When the workday is done, we might leave our desk covered in papers and coffee cups. But in the Japanese mindset, an activity is not truly finished until the space has been reset to its original state. This is deeply connected to the Zen Buddhist practice of soji, or mindful cleaning. Soji is not about deep cleaning or making things sterile. It is about restoring harmony. In a Japanese home, before you leave a room, you take 30 seconds to reset it. You fold the throw blanket on the sofa. You align the remote controls parallel to the edge of the table. You push the chair back in. You clear the kitchen counter before turning off the lights for the night. This reset is a profound act of respect for your future self. When you wake up the next morning and walk into a kitchen that has been reset to zero, you are greeted by a space that is ready to support you, rather than a space that is demanding your immediate labor. The mess from yesterday does not spill over into today. To implement this, create a 10-minute reset routine every evening. Do not view this as a burdensome chore, but as a graceful transition between the active part of your day and the restful part of your night. Move through your main living areas, returning wandering objects to their permanent addresses, fluffing the cushions, and clearing the horizontal surfaces. You are not just tidying, you are setting the stage for a peaceful tomorrow. Moving forward, we encounter perhaps the most elegant solution to the modern problem of overconsumption. It is the strict rule of one in, one out. In a world that constantly encourages us to buy more, accumulate more, and upgrade to the latest model, our homes can quickly become bursting at the seams. The Japanese approach to managing this influx is both simple and ruthless. For every new item that crosses the threshold of the home, an old item of the same category must leave. If you buy a new sweater, an old sweater must be donated or discarded. If you purchase a new mug, an old mug must be retired. If you bring home a book you have already read must be passed on to a friend. This creates a closed-loop system where the total volume of your possessions remains perfectly constant. The brilliance of this habit is that it forces you to become incredibly mindful about what you bring into your life. Before you buy that new pair of shoes, you have to ask yourself a difficult question. Am I willing to get rid of a pair I already own to make room for this? Suddenly, impulse purchases lose their appeal. You only acquire things that are truly better, more beautiful, or more useful than what you currently have. This habit protects the boundaries of your home, ensuring that your storage spaces never become overcrowded. It shifts your focus from mindless accumulation to careful curation. Start applying this rule today with your clothing. Do not let another single garment enter your closet unless you have a designated piece ready to leave. You will find that your wardrobe naturally refines itself, becoming a collection of only the things you truly love and wear. This brings us to a habit which is deeply rooted in ancient Japanese spirituality and entirely changes how you interact with your physical environment. It is the practice of acknowledging the spirit of your objects. In the indigenous Japanese religion of Shinto, there is a belief that all things, even inanimate objects like tools, cups, and clothing, possess a spirit or a life force, known as kami. While modern Japanese people may not literally believe that their blender has a soul, this cultural heritage has left a profound mark on how they treat their belongings. There is a deep-seated respect for the things that serve us. You do not throw your coat on a chair. You hang it up carefully, acknowledging the warmth it provided you. You do not stuff your socks into a drawer in a tangled ball. You fold them neatly, allowing the elastic to rest. When an object is broken or has reached the end of its useful life, it is not simply tossed into the garbage with disgust. It is thanked for its service before it is let go. When you treat your possessions with this level of reverence, a remarkable shift happens. You stop buying cheap disposable items because you want to surround yourself with things worthy of respect, and you naturally maintain a more organized space because treating objects well inherently means keeping them clean, properly stored, and in good condition. You stop viewing tidying as a battle against inanimate things and start viewing it as an act of caring for the partners that support your daily life. Try this tomorrow morning. When you put on your shoes, take 1 second to silently thank them for carrying you throughout the day. Notice how this small shift in perspective changes the way you handle them and how you place them back in the entryway when you return. The final habit in our sequence is a philosophy that has gained immense popularity in recent years, but its roots go deep into Japanese ascetic traditions. It is known as danshari. Danshari is often translated simply as decluttering, but it is much more aggressive and philosophical than that. The word is composed of 3 characters. Dan means to refuse to bring unnecessary things into your life. Sha means to throw away existing clutter, and Ri means to separate yourself from the desire for material possessions. Danshari is not just about organizing the things you have, it is about fundamentally changing your relationship with attachment. It is the painful but liberating process of looking at your possessions and realizing that many of them are anchors holding you to the past or fears about the future. That box of cables for electronics you no longer own, that is fear of the future. Those clothes that haven't fit in 10 years, that is attachment to the past. Danshari requires you to aggressively prune everything that does not serve you in the present moment. It is the understanding that true luxury is not having an abundance of things, but having an abundance of space, time, and mental clarity. This is why Japanese homes often look so impeccably organized. There is simply less to organize. To practice danshari, you must go beyond simply tidying up your existing mess. You must bravely face your closets and your drawers, holding each item and asking if it truly belongs in the current chapter of your life. If it does not, you must have the courage to let it go. When you master danshari, your home stops being a warehouse for your memories and anxieties and becomes a clear, open space for you to actually live. True organization is never about the containers you buy or the cleaning schedules you create. It is a profound reflection of your internal state and your relationship with the space that holds your life. When you embrace these habits, you move from a state of constant reaction to a state of quiet intention. As we come to the end of our journey, I must keep the promise I made to you at the very beginning. I told you there was one habit, the absolute core of the invisible system, without which none of the others can survive. That core secret is the habit we explored first, which is the principle of the permanent address. Everything has a home. If you only implement one thing from this video, let it be that. Because once every object knows exactly where it belongs, the chaos simply cannot take root. The flow of your home becomes automatic, and the peace becomes permanent. I would love to hear from you now. Which of these 8 habits do you find the most challenging to maintain in your own life? Tell me in the comments below. I read every single one. Next week, we will explore the Japanese secrets to creating a morning routine that guarantees a calm and focused day. Until then, remember that an organized home is not an empty one, but one where every object and every empty space is deeply respected. May your home become your sanctuary,